everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Good.
Excellent, excellent. The cocktail of the week this week is the Batanga.
Sounds cool.
Right? Batanga.
Batanga.
It's 2 ounces of tequila, half an ounce of lime juice, and Coke. It's kind of like a Cuba Libre, but with tequila.
And lime juice, but Cuba
You
Libre
have lime in Cuba Libre.
Wow. Batanga.
Batanga.
What does that refer to?
I have no idea. Should we look it up? This is how we
Maybe.
discover so many things on this
Maybe.
podcast.
Yeah.
Batanga. Oh, it's a cocktail made with tequila, lime juice, and Coke.
That's begging the question.
That's what it is.
We knew that. That's why we looked it up.
I guess.
Wait, it's like the Jimbo or like the Smith?
Let's look up Batanga etymology. All right. Here's what Wikipedia says. Batanga.
Okay.
There are the Batanga people of Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, related to the Douala of Cameroon.
That ain't it.
The Batanga language spoken by the Batanga people. There are 3 places, Batanga in Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Cameroon. Though in Cameroon it's Grand Batanga. There is the Batanga cocktail.
That's it. That's it.
That's what it is.
What's
All
it
right.
named after?
A Batanga is a cocktail with this. It's like a Cuba Libre except with tequila, says the Wikipedia page. That's
what
I
did they
said.
just hear you? They just transcribed what you just said.
All right. Credit for the invention of the drink is often given to Don Javier Delgado, owner of La Capilla in Tequila, Mexico, who is said to have invented it in 1961 after a particularly, quote, rotund customer.
He named it after a rotund customer?
Yep. It is a fairly popular drink in Mexico. At La Capilla, the drink is stirred with a long wood-handled knife that was previously used to chop up limes, ingredients for guacamole, chilies and salsa, and countless other common kitchen ingredients, which slightly imparts those flavors to the drink. So you got a kitchen knife, you chop up your stuff, you make guacamole, and then you stick your stuff in a glass, you just jam the knife in there and stir it around.
Well, it does add some flavor. Is it a wooden knife or a wooden-handled knife?
Wooden-handled knife.
Okay.
Yeah. Batanga, named after a rotund customer. So it says in Food and Wine Cocktails 2005, the best drinks from America's hottest bars, lounges, and restaurants.
Well, look at
of
that.
2005. So maybe it was named after Mr. or Ms. Batanga.
If you put in Batanga into Google, Spanish to English, it says outrigger. Or holder.
Or holder.
That doesn't make any sense. That must be slang.
There you go.
Okay.
Cocktail of the week.
All right.
Are you ready for administrative corner?
Of course. I love administrative corner.
Excellent. 2 items. One is that we finally have Golden Ratio calendars for 2023. I am not thinking about 2023 yet, but like in September.
I don't think it's going to happen.
2023?
Yeah, it's so far.
So, I'm
just going to sit here and, giggle about that for a little while. So,
except the joke that you just made, I had the recording turned off, so nobody actually heard it.
I am devastated.
Sorry. So anyway, back in September, people were asking me about Golden Ratio calendar, and I was like, y'all need to settle down. We have a quarter of this year left to go.
This is like Christmas. It creeps earlier and earlier and earlier.
And so I finally did. I'd been meaning to do them, and I finally got them done like last week. And somebody's like, oh, I already ordered my calendar for next year because I didn't know you guys were going to do one. And I was like, what are you guys doing? There's 2 months left of 2022, and they're already buying 2023
What if they change
calendars.
the numbers?
Anyway.
What if something happens and they drop a month? Then you'll have an outdated calendar. Gotta wait till a little bit later.
The Golden Ratio 2023 calendar, which I will say has a number of shots of Vodes in it because
he's awesome,
is available. You can find it in our bio links, in our Twitter feed.
On whoever sells it,
Lulu. If you go to lulu.com and search the Golden Ratio, it'll come up. Except one person ordered theirs, and it's got hops on the cover in the pool.
Uh-huh.
And then when you flip it open, the kind of reverse printing of the cover is January, right? It's the picture for January. You open it up, zoop,
Yeah.
and it's got Vink lounging on a chair. And then every other picture was like somebody else's vacation photos. Not my vacation photos. Just like,
Okay, that's weird.
yep. And
I
I
hope not all of them turned out like that.
I messaged Lulu and I was like, you guys, it seems problematic that this happened. And they're like, and I just got this like clearly robot reply that was like, we're sorry that you have problems with your order. And I was like, somebody ordered the calendar that we have. But just like Lulu Robot was like, oh, a complaint. Here's the form to fill out. So
So if you get other people's vacation pictures and don't like them, let Lulu know.
they were mediocre. I mean, they were fine, but they weren't that great.
They won't have the dogs in
There
them.
were no dogs in them at all.
Unless Vink is going places that she doesn't tell us about, which she does.
Yeah.
She's like on vacation with people now.
Yep. All right, so that's that. The other administrative update, which you probably would have said if I didn't, is that the plushies are shipping. Hopper
Yes.
plushies are shipping.
Mine shipped.
Did you get like 100 messages?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I think they may be in order of when you ordered them, perhaps.
They might be. Yeah.
Or in order of awesomeness, because mine is early.
Well, they're coming. We just talked about this last week where they actually were supposed to ship in December, but now they're shipping out. So clearly the production run has happened and they're going to come.
It's great. That is great
That's
news. Ask me how many calendars I ordered.
How many calendars did you order?
Enough. Enough.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm sure there's some list that we can qualify by getting lots of orders. So I think, lots of orders always better.
Well,
Goosing the numbers, Jen. I'm goosing the numbers.
I don't think that's how any of this works.
We can
Ingo.
always resell them.
Oh my God.
I can sell them back to Lulu.
No, you cannot really return them.
What?
No.
No?
No, that's not how it works.
Oh, my business plan looks a little shaky now.
You're all on just like step 3 profits.
Man, the more I order, the better it is. I just know this in my heart. Are you telling me my heart is wrong?
No, the heart doesn't lie.
The brain does.
Especially yours when it comes to ordering things.
I'm glad I'm not in charge of everything.
Me too. All right. So that's it for Administrative Corner. Let's see. On to dog updates. So the main dog update is Cheddar has gone up for adoption on the Great site.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Sad.
I know, where it's like he kind of gazes up to me with his blind little fluffy face, and he's so nice, and he wags, and he loves me so much, and he's so happy to see me, and I'm like, he's such a good boy, and he naps, and he just wants to cuddle. And then like at 1 a.m. last night, I was like, Cheddar, come on, let's go outside before you go to bed. And he's like, I don't want to go outside. And I was like, come on. And he's like, no. And he's kind of mastered the like no flip. And I was like, fine. I'm like, but you can't stay out here because you're going to wander into the bedroom and you're going to step on Remy, and then there's going to be problems and I'm going to be upset. And so I like lure him into my office and I close the door, and then he's like scratching on the door, and it like makes me all panicky.
It's the middle of the night.
And eventually I try and go to sleep. I get back up out of bed and he has peed in the office, which like at least we have put down like waterproof blankets in the office to protect my rug.
We know about this.
But this happens when he won't pee before bed. He has to pee before bed. And then if we put him in the office and he hasn't peed, he pees on the rug. So then I let him out.
You're like a child, Cheddar.
And he peed, and then I have to like wrap up that waterproof blanket and put down the other one. And then he's like gets back in from peeing, and he's all excited, and he's like bouncing around and jumping on me and like punching me with his foot and like just
Which is adorable 12 hours earlier.
all excited. So I like lure him into the kitchen, and I have to give him a lick mat. So I got these from Tucker Budsin, very famous on the socials, golden retriever,
Yeah.
show dog.
Show dog.
Still has his balls though, so that's problematic.
Show dog. Not like gritty like our dogs.
Gritty and real like our dogs. Anyway, she had posted a picture. So they have two, right? They have Tucker and Todd, who's his baby. Like they had a litter, and so they got two of them. And she posted this video of them like licking, peanut butter and Greek yogurt off these mats. And I was like, those are great, and I'm buying them, and they have been great.
Yeah, they're like textured mats, so they have like grooves and places that the peanut butter hides.
Yeah. They keep the dogs entertained for a long time. And there are a number of nights where Cheddar's been all wound up at this ungodly hour. And I will put mostly Greek yogurt and a little bit of, like, I have unsweetened cashew butter right now that I bought for a recipe. And now the jar is like 3/4 gone because I'm using it on dogs. But whatever. Smear that on there. And it keeps him entertained, and then he falls asleep in the kitchen. But, like, I was up until 2:30 in the morning, which I did not want to be, just trying to get him to, like, be somewhere that he could sleep and we don't have to worry. And I was like, this is why my quality of life is lower having him around. It's not that he's a bad dog. He's such a good dog. And if he were the only dog, or if it were like him and Hops and Vink, it'd be fine. Frankly, if it weren't Remy, it'd probably be fine.
Yeah, let's narrow it down. Who's the most fragile of the dogs is Remy right now.
But, I mean, I think he has stepped on Hops. He steps on Brody all the time, and Brody does not like it, but he doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it's just, he needs a place where he can be with a reasonable number of dogs and people who will love on him all the time, because he deserves that, because he's a good boy.
And the thing we keep emphasizing is those places exist, right? He doesn't
so many.
have to be kind of square pegged into the round hole here, and where he has to be in the kitchen at night or something. He can find a place where it's perfect, kind of like Nacho, which it sucks that we don't have Nacho anymore. You are missing him for walkies.
I do miss my walks with him. He's such a good walk partner.
And a bed sleeper.
Oh, top-notch bed sleeper.
But he's in, like, Earth heaven right now. I mean,
he's having such a good time.
He is just in, like, the best spot for him. And, yeah, we enabled that. So write that down, and I'll have the note. I'd like that.
I want everyone to know that I paused the podcast because we're having some audio issues tonight.
Yeah,
with
and
volume.
usually that's just me.
And I said to Ingo, this is not your fault. This is my fault. And he said, write that down.
Wait, you weren't taping that?
Nope. But now I just taped it, and I said it was my fault.
All the good stuff. Yeah, and I want it in writing. That was your fault
fine.
And not mine.
Absolutely my fault.
I was innocent.
Well, this leads us to our second story, but let me finish up the Cheddar thing first. If you live in the DMV, that is DC, Maryland, Virginia.
But not Richmond.
Richmond is fine. Yes, but the R does, yes. Southern Pennsylvania, Delaware, even the edge of West Virginia.
Whoa, extended DMV.
I mean, Barb Nelson got the Sis. She's in West Virginia.
She is special.
I mean, that's true. But so this is just the area that the rescue group serves.
True. That's true. We'll drive hours. Yep.
So if you live in that area, you are eligible to adopt Cheddar. If you don't live in that area, they're not going to let you adopt Cheddar. He is not our dog. He belongs to the rescue group, so they get to pick that, they get to say if you qualify or not. We have to go through them. But if you live vaguely in the area of DC, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Southern Pennsylvania.
Eastern Seaboard.
Yeah. Then you can apply. Now, you probably want to have been approved as an adopter by Great, which we said like a month ago, and nobody did it. But now you're like, oh man, I really want Cheddar. So you can still do it. But the slow part is, like, you fill out your application and then they have to schedule a home visit. So, like, a person needs to come visit your house with their dog, and it's a process.
And everyone who lives in the house has to be there.
Yeah.
So it's not like secret dog haters.
No, that's right. So it's usually a 4 or 5 week process to get approved. But if you want Ched, you could still try. Like, try to get approved. I think the current plan, so we've put him up. He's listed under available dogs on the Great website. And he's going to stay there and at least for 2 weeks. So I'm going to be up in Maryland a bunch of times. But the relevant time is like the week after Thanksgiving, like the end of that week, December 1st.
Nothing's going to happen over Thanksgiving, which is fair.
Next week, nothing. The week after, the plan, tentative plan is that Cheddar will make his way up to Maryland. And if we don't have someone at that point who wants to adopt him, he will move into another foster's house in Maryland, because they can kind of assess how needy he is when there's not as many dogs around, and then they can handle the adoption part. So he'll all things subject to change, but he'll probably be here for 2 more weeks. And no one has yet expressed interest in adopting him, but I don't think they've sent out the email yet. Like, he's on the website, but there's like an email that goes to all approved adopters of like, available dogs. I don't think that email has gone yet with him.
The one that used to get you with the little pictures.
Oh, that's such a good email. So, anyway, that's that. So, yeah, he is a good boy, but he needs a place. And even though he's like mostly blind, like he's going up and down the stairs like a champion. He doesn't run into anything. He is a great starter dog for someone because he's like really mellow. He's just snuggly.
He's
doesn't bark. Very low maintenance.
I don't think I've heard him bark.
No, he doesn't bark. He just wants to be like pet and cuddled all the time.
Unlike Remy, or Venk.
Remy's problematic. So anyway, that's the Cheddar situation. The Remy situation, so I said we had sort of alluded to this before. The reason the podcast equipment is all screwed up and we're having audio issues tonight is because I recorded an episode of The Agenda with Jen Coleslaw, friend of the squad.
I'm not even talking about the competing podcast that you participate in. Your loyalty is in question.
This is a much more popular podcast than The Agenda, so don't even worry about it.
That's because of me.
Ingo, normally I would pause the podcast to tell you this, but you got to keep that mic closer to your mouth than it just was.
Closer? Like this?
That's great. That's perfect.
But then I have to be quiet. What if I'm like exuberant?
You got to learn to like, as you get louder, you move it away, and then you move it back.
That looked really dramatic, but it's an audio medium. Go ahead. All right. Noted.
So I recorded an episode of The Agenda with Jen Coleslaw earlier today. And when I do that, I unplug one of the mics. So I'm not picking up like just background audio from one mic. And then also for some reason, when we connected through the podcast app that we use, she was extremely loud. Like my ears hurt.
Maybe she was excited.
I mean, she was a little excited, but it was also extremely loud. So I had to adjust the settings on like our mixer box because I couldn't do it on my computer. And so everything got all screwed up from our default. And the reason that is relevant.
I was going to say, and go on,
is that on The Agenda this week, we talked about stunt candy and kind of candy in general. And for our consumable, we tried the Brock's tailgate flavored candy corn. I'm still recovering. I'm not going to spoil it. You should go listen to the Agenda podcast. But let me tell you guys, it was not good. And sometimes it was extremely bad.
As an amateur in this, I'm not on the Agenda podcast. My name is wrong.
You are invited if you want to come. I
understand.
You're Jen adjacent.
I will eat almost anything. I'll eat stuff off the floor. I'll eat stuff out of the forest. I'll eat stuff off trees. I tried some of these. I'm not going to do it again.
Nope.
That's all I'm going to say.
The flavors of the tailgate candy corn is vanilla ice cream.
Caramel popcorn?
Just popcorn. Buttered popcorn.
Yeah.
Fruit punch. Hot dog and hamburger.
Yes. That's where it gets really weird and...
The hamburger was extremely...
Not.
I almost couldn't swallow it.
If it tasted like a hamburger, I probably would not have felt as negative about it.
What I told Jen Coleslaw is it tastes like candy corn plus like the grill lines from a hamburger. It was very bad. I'm going to ruin the podcast. Go listen to the Agenda podcast.
No, this is good teaser. This is gold. Gold, Jen.
So anyway, we knew it was going to be bad. We didn't realize it would be quite as bad as it was.
I got to super follow the Agenda, too, so I can maximize my money.
I don't think we have a Patreon or a super follow, but maybe. And I'd be splitting it with Jen Coleslaw.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
So where's all my money going?
Somewhere else. Away. It's going away. So we knew that the candy corn was going to be bad. And when the entire squad was up in Maryland, actually when we got Cheddar, when we dropped him off at the vet to get fixed, we met up with Jen Coleslaw and her husband, and we had some drinks. And Jen Coleslaw gave me like a pouch branded after her other podcast, Two Chocolate Cakes, and had all sorts of goodies in it.
It's merch, but it had her hand-selected goodies. Yeah,
so the pouch is her merch. It's like a big-ass pouch. And in it, there was like an 8-ounce Ritter Sport cornflake chocolate bar. There were 5 or 6 of these Kentucky chocolate snacks.
Yeah, they're called
Kentucky Blue.
Blue something.
Something.
I can't remember.
We also talk about these on the Agenda podcast, but they've got a kind of like vanilla cream nougaty thing on the inside and dark chocolate on the outside.
I think in bourbon.
There was no bourbon in this one, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, it was still really tasty. So it's kind of like if you took a peppermint patty and made it square, like that's what it looks like. And it's not peppermint flavored, but it's that kind of texture on the inside, right? Imagine peppermint patty without the peppermint in square or rectangle.
Yep.
So anyway, there were like 5 of those. There were a couple bags of like Famous Amos chocolate coconut cookies and some other stuff. There were a lot of chocolate snacks in there. And so I brought that in because we tried this Kentucky snack after we ate the candy corn, because we're like, the candy corn's going to be so bad, we need a palate cleanser, and it's going to be this thing that we know will be good. And so we ate that, and we finished the podcast, and then I like did some work, and then I went over to the neighbor's house, trimmed her dog's nails, came home. And as I got the podcast equipment for us to record now, my chair in my office was like filthy. And I was like, did somebody get dirty and come up here? Did somebody like poop somewhere and get up here? Like, it's all brown. And what it actually was is that Remy made it into the office, pulled the 2 chocolate cakes branded pouch off the top of the bookshelf, which she somehow reached, probably climbed onto the chair and then could get up there, and ate all of the candy, including the 8-ounce Ritter Sport that was in the bag. I found a chewed up wrapper on the floor from a couple of things.
What a miscreant.
He ate all the wrappers along with the chocolate from the Kentucky snacks.
They're Ruth Hunt candies and they're Blue Mondays.
Blue Mondays, yes.
But it's not dog candy, and it's not diabetic dog candy, and it's very bad, and he's a bad dog.
So he's been drinking a lot tonight, which is what happens when your blood sugar's high. And I was like, hey, Ingo, I figured out why Remy's drinking a lot. And I'm like, some dog ate all the chocolate out of the bag. And I was like, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be Remy. And then I took his blood sugar. Normally his blood sugar's been in like the 1 or 200s, and it was like 558. So he ate all my chocolate.
So he's had some insulin.
He got his insulin early tonight, yeah.
I took like a video of him sitting on the chair because he was so cute and he seemed so happy.
He's like, Ingo, do you know how much chocolate I just ate? Like the most chocolate.
But he didn't have like a chocolatey face like some kid in a movie or something.
That's because that's what color he is.
It wasn't obvious. That's
chocolate.
what?
That's what color he is.
I know. He didn't look obviously guilty either. He just looked kind of pleased with himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he is. He's got no guilt.
That is guilty. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess the other Remy update is Remy's in a cone because he's got a hot spot on his face again. It's in a different spot than the last time.
Good at scratching himself till he bleeds.
Yep.
Yeah, and he did it. And so, hate the cone, but really hate that he's making his neck bleed.
We got to, I mean, it's real gross.
Hate the cone.
I know, I hate it too, but he 100% needs it right now.
Oh, he's trying to scratch through the cone a lot.
He scratches a lot. Yeah.
It's also loud at 3 a.m.
It is.
Scratch.
That's
That's it. That's the sound.
That's what it sounds like. I don't think we have any other dog updates.
Guac has a little bit of he's getting his winter pounds.
We talked about this.
Yeah?
We talked about him being chubby last week.
Dad bod?
Yep. Guac is fat was on our list last week.
He's still a little bit chubby. But we're working on it, and he's sticking to his diet. Good job, Guac.
Yeah, good job. Okay. Time for ramblings.
Well, ramble on.
So as we mentioned last week, someone sent us a can of PB Blaster lubricant and penetrant.
Yes.
And we used it this week.
It's 100% better than WD-40.
So the giant skeleton, I had planned to keep up, and so there's a kind of steel base that the skeleton fits into, and you put the feet on there, and then there's like little metal things, and you know how they connect where you put like one inside the other, and there's like a little hole on one piece, and there's a little pushy button on the other piece. You push the button in, slide it in, and then it pops out through the hole. So there's a bunch of those to hold the frame together, and then the plastic skeleton pieces fit over the frame. But that's not going to hold anything up because
the bones don't support it either by itself.
no, and it's just like aluminum tubing for the frame. It's not super sturdy. So the way that the skeleton is held up is that like at the top of the spine, there's a place to screw in an eye bolt, and then there's 2 little hooks on the base, and there's a steel cable that you hook through one of the hooks on the base up through the eye bolt and back down to a hook on the other side of the base. So the whole frame is pulled taut, and it was hard to like hook that thing in there. It's very tight.
Yeah, it's like cantilevered against,
Yeah.
the weight in the front.
With this steel cable.
Yep.
The steel cable broke last week.
And we can't even blame a dog because I don't think any dog is 12 feet high.
No, it broke up at the eye bolt part. It broke in the middle.
Yep.
And, probably got rusty because there's salt air on it.
Hurricanes.
But I'm like, we can't leave the skeleton up because nothing is holding it now. It's just the skeleton, like this weak ass frame.
It's going to fall over.
Sitting.
When that thing falls over, it's going to break itself.
Yes.
It's too high, too much falling.
So we laid it down and I was like, let's just put it away. Because like if it's out here, it's it's gonna degrade. It's all like there's rust on all the metal parts, and the sun in Florida is gonna be hard on it. Like, let's put it away and we'll bring it out next Halloween. Like, it's definitely not a thing that will last forever. But so we took it apart and we got all the pieces apart except the base of the frame. So there's a base, and then there's 4 of those little like slide in pieces that go kind of out from the corners to keep it from blowing over.
Makes the base even bigger.
Yeah, it kind of widens out the span of the base. And one of them, you couldn't push the little button down enough. You couldn't push it at all. The button was frozen.
Yeah.
So normally you'd push the button down like underneath the little hole that it pops through, and then you could slide that piece out, and the button wouldn't push down. And I was like, what we have that would work on that is the lubricant and penetrant.
The blaster.
So if you're a super follower or a supporter on the Patreon, you got to see the video of us trying it out where we're holding the frame. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to spray the blaster on it. And then I spray it on there, and immediately the button pushes, and then the thing just slid right out.
It was great. It was very tempting for me to just put that stuff on everything.
Yeah.
There, we could have like the chain for the gate. We could just put it on everything.
It's great stuff.
I'm afraid it will penetrate too much though, and like just like eat through stuff. But I don't think that's how it works.
That's not what it does. No.
No. Well, I'm putting it on the chain then for the gate.
Fair enough.
It's gonna be dripping everywhere. We're gonna have
Oh my God.
blaster everywhere.
I'm not sure that's what it's for, but
It was
whatever.
very satisfying. It was very satisfying. It's better than WD-40, and WD-40 just has a better marketing budget.
WD-40 is good stuff, though.
Yeah, but this is better.
All right. I also wrote down that you want to talk about your yeeter. Ingo, you got to move that mic permanently closer to your face. Like, I gestured for him to put it by his face, and then he moved it up there, and then he moved it right back down where it was.
My goodness. How's this?
That's perfect.
What?
Good job.
Perfect. Nice.
You wanted to talk about your yeeter.
Oh, the lacrosse stick.
Yeah.
It's great. The lacrosse stick has been a total boon. You got me a lacrosse stick
I think
and a tennis
it's a
racket.
friend of the squad that sent the lacrosse stick.
Oh, is that
I bought
right?
the tennis racket, and a friend of the squad
That's what it was.
anonymously sent the lacrosse stick.
Yeah, because I'm conflicted about lacrosse. In college, those were the real prep school bro-y kids, right? They were even like more bro-y than the football players. So I don't necessarily like all the lacrosse players. But
Nothing personal to the lacrosse players.
No. But reputationally, I'm just blocked. But this thing is useful. I don't have to go in the water all the time. I can reach in and get the balls. It's great for eating jellyfish.
I see you lacrossing balls out there.
Oh, it's great.
Guac.
And I can lacrosse them down so guac doesn't bite them. And you can, you can throw from the cradle. You can throw from the tip. You can do a lot of stuff with this thing. It's great. And then yes, it's good for picking up propagules and just picking stuff out of the water. It's very useful. I really like the lacrosse stick. It's been quite a game changer.
That's pretty
Who
good.
knew? And it's plastic, and none of it's gonna disintegrate and rust or whatever. So it's good. Yeah, and it's been great for eating. I mean, it's jellyfish hate it.
Okay. Do you have anything for ramblings, or can I move on to Taste of the Keys?
Now go ahead.
Okay. Taste of the Keys this week is 15 sea turtles were released after rehabbing in the Florida Keys.
That's so nice.
So, a green sea turtle named after Hurricane Ian. What do you think that sea turtle's name was, Ingo?
Hurricane Ian.
It was just Ian. They just made it short.
I'm being too literal, perhaps.
They released these 15 turtles. This is from the Turtle Hospital in Marathon, which used to be a motel, and then they just turned all the motel rooms into like operating rooms.
And the swimming pool
stuff.
is now like a saltwater refuge for turtles.
It's awesome, and you should visit it if you ever come to the Keys.
Yep.
Ian the turtle was found buried in seaweed, clinging to a boat ramp after Hurricane Ian came through. So they took him to the Hurricane Hospital, and they gave him fluids and food and nursed him back to health. They also released 14 other young sea turtles into a line of like seaweed.
Yeah, they do like one turtle at a time. They will take a turtle in, diagnose it, and half the time they've been like chewed up by propellers or something, and then they'll name that turtle and nurse it back and then release it. And it's like a big they usually have like a big party when they release the turtles. It's a big celebration, and dozens of people come out and cheer. It's really cool.
Yeah, they usually take them out to Sombrero Beach, but these guys were let out in the water. But the one notable thing, we mentioned on the podcast last week that the boat races were happening, which is these big power boats that, as we said last week, if you watch the Cocaine Cowboys Miami special on Netflix, you get to see the Key West boat races. So the turtles that got released were carried to their release point by the TS Motorsports MTI Powerboat, a 39-foot vessel participating in the Race World Offshore Key West World Championship.
Man.
So one of the super fast powerboats
Whoa.
boated all those 15 sea turtles and the staff out, into this.
That's a fast trip.
Yeah, into the marine sanctuary.
That's great.
So there you go. That's the Taste of the Keys this week.
I mean, just one turtle at a time, or 15
real
turtles at a time.
Old school Taste of the Keys, right? Like, this is what Keys life is. Absolutely. This is what's in our news.
And those guys, they love it. They do great work, right? They'll have you take the tour, and there's like little pools, basically buckets with these turtles in them, and one of them has like bubble butt, and one of them has cancer, and one of them has damage to their and then there's a few that can't be released because their buoyancy's messed up, and they just swim in the swimming pool there.
Yep.
You can feed them.
Yep.
It's
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, it's time for German Word of the Week and Ingo Corner.
Ingo Corner is going to be... I've just been giving all my gems as this goes along.
I mean, I think that's fine. It's just your opportunity for a last word.
Yeah, my German word is going to be apropos of nothing, probably. Schwarzarbeit.
Black work.
Yes.
Schwarzarbeit. What does it actually mean?
It's a big thing at least it was in the 90s, probably still is in Germany, where Germany has the value-added tax. And so if you do work, or if you contract for work, you have to add 15 to, what is it now, 20% to whatever it is. So Schwarzarbeit is like, if you're a plumber, you'll work on the weekend for just cost, and you won't declare it on taxes, so that everyone saves 20%.
So
on the price.
It's black market, right?
It's
market work.
It's tax-free work. But I was surprised, in my 20s, how prevalent it is in Germany, where someone's just like, I'm a painter, but I'll paint after my work hours, and I won't charge you. I won't declare it, and I won't charge you the 20%. Mm-hmm. Because it's a way to get around the 20%. It's not, that's the only advantage. You still pay the full hourly fee. Everyone wins except the state, is kind of how it's seen. So, but it was a big thing, Schwarzarbeit.
Schwarzarbeit, good word.
It should be, it's illegal, and it's a problem, but it was very prevalent, right? People were like, well, if I'm working on a job, in my job, it is going to be administratively fixed. But if I'm working sort of on my own, I think it's stupid. So I'm not going to charge the 20%.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Schwarzarbeit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts for Ingo Corner before we sign off?
No. Are we going to have another one before Thanksgiving? We are, right?
Yes.
So I'm not going to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Nope, that'll be next week.
Happy pre-Thanksgiving. Hang in there. Year's almost over.
Yeah.
Nothing happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's fine.
If only that were true.
Nothing happens at work between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I mean, me and everyone in college is
Oh, that's
absolutely
true. That's the
disagreeing
opposite.
with you.
That's true. It's jobs where, people celebrate the holidays and stuff and are bureaucrats that nothing happens.
Yes, finals definitely happen, though.
Some colleges have finals after New Year's.
Some stupid colleges have finals after New Year's.
They're not so stupid now.
I mean, one of us is enrolled at Harvard right now, and my finals are before Christmas. So.
Wow. So I guess I was the fool. Mine were in January.
Huh, seems like they've adjusted their calendar to be
made
not
Christmas
stupid.
break really sucky.
I had a friend.
Going home and having to study
Yeah.
for finals sucked.
I had a friend who was at Cornell, and they also had that schedule.
We had books back then. I had to lug textbooks to Germany
They
for Christmas.
still have books, Ingo.
I know. But
They still have books.
I bet you they're more online, though. I
Oh
bet
my
you
God.
can read
I mean,
some
there's
online.
some books that you can get on ebook, and I will tell you that students largely don't do that. I mean, some of them do.
You know how heavy books are in your bags?
I'm sorry. One of us has spent way more years in school than the other one.
Well, way
With
more.
books.
Oh, you do work there. So, every year further is another year that you're in school.
I mean, how many years of higher education do you have?
3 JD ones.
Yeah, so 7.
Yeah.
How many do I have?
More?
10.
Ooh. That's like 3 more.
I just fucking know what a book is. I know about books in class.
Yeah.
Why are you mansplaining books to me?
They were just big and heavy. I'm not
I
trying to
have had
mansplain them to you. I'm trying to share my experience, which was, man, these were big, heavy textbooks.
Ingo, everybody still has big, heavy textbooks.
Well, my heart goes out to everyone. They all will identify with me, except you.
Oh my God.
Except you, who
think-
does not identify with me, who was
Little
disdain. Just
Mansplaining.
disdain
A
for
little
me.
bit of mansplaining.
No, I'm just complaining about my life. That's not mansplaining.
I mean, it was.
I'm not saying it's good, but it's something different.
Well, actually, there were books then.
It's a different problem. I'm just complaining about my life.
Okay.
Walking back and forth to school in the snow or whatever,
Oh my
barefoot.
God. All right.
Anyway, my exams were in January.
Anything else you want to add? to
No,
the
I'm
podcast?
super pleased for some reason with that, even though it kind of worked out against me. I did not win.
You never do.
Sometimes I do. I have this note that says you did it wrong before.
That's true. I did screw up whatever that thing was
Yes.
before. It was my fault. All right, everyone. Well, until next time, Slava Ukraini.
Yeah, no kidding.
Double down and don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Correct.
Bye.
Bye.